Hello and welcome to this afternoon or early evening, depending where you are. Taste challenge. We have two North American rye whiskeys, okay? This is Old Overholt straight rye whiskey introduced. Now, this version, okay, let me try to explain this without causing confusion. So, the company and the brand Old Overholt was introduced in 1810. 1810. So it's the oldest rye whiskey brand still around in the United States, okay? But it was introduced in Pennsylvania, like it says there, born in Pennsylvania. Uh, but at but it was bought out by the Beam Company years ago, and their distillery was shut down in Pennsylvania. I think in like '93. Could be wrong, but I think it was like in the '90s. Ronnie S says, "Good evening, Sir Ronald. Good evening to you, Ronnie." So this is the current version introduced in 2022 last year. Although I don't think any stores got it until 23, but it was technically introduced in 2022. It's aged 4 years. It's 86 proof. It's non-chill filtered. So they don't chill filter it. They filter it through charcoal, I would assume. It's obviously filtered. It's very clear. Corey says, looks pretty. Hope your day's going well. It is so far. All right. So I've got two other bottles. I got the version that was on the market up to 2020, 3-year aged, 80 proof. And then I got the 3-year aged, 86 proof, not in chill filtered. Now, this is the 4-year aged, 86 proof, non-chill filtered. You can see it's in that typical Beam Company economy bottle like you see with Old Granddad Bottle and Bond. The same bottle design as Beam 8-star. Kessler, Julius Kessler whiskey. And sometimes it's brown like this, or sometimes it's clear glass. All right. Now it's going to match up against the competitor Hunter Rye. Imported Hunter Rye. That's the name of the product. I call it Hunter Rye, but the name is Imported Hunter Rye. Could not find out year of introduction. I don't know when this hit the market. I could not find it. I tried. I searched and searched, could not find. The first time I tried this, I found it in New Orleans, okay, at Broadway Liquors on Broadway Avenue in New Orleans. But they only had the small bottles, the little, like, I think it's like 100 milliliter plastic bottle. So I was like, I want a glass bottle. And they were like, well, we don't have that. And I was like, all right. And it's very rare. Most stores do not carry this. Most stores do carry Canadian Hunter, all right? There it is. It's focusing. Canadian whiskey, a blend. It's got the bullet. It's black, and white, and gray label. No coloring, black, white, and gray. Now, Canadian Hunter is like tan, green, gold. All right, this is 90 proof, Hunter Rye, 90 proof. You can see it's in the same bottle as Canadian Hunter or McAfee's Old Number 8, benchmark bourbon. Same bottle. Jason Cleveland says, I'm listening as I drive to the Socialist Seattle Seahawks game. Oh, all right, the National Socialist Football League. I can shut this window now. It's dark. Or it's practically dark. The days will continue to get shorter until 1890. Thursday. And after Thursday, the days will start to get longer all the way till the middle of June, later in June. All right. But that's how the world works. That's astronomy. All right. I'll turn on the lamp, but let me pour them. So I'm telling you, I cannot find any information. I never thought I'd find a glass bottle. 2 years ago, I was in Arlington, Texas. My friend David and I took a trip to go see the new stadium, Texas Ranger Stadium, World Series champions 2023. And it was a very nice stadium, might add. We got pretty good deal on tickets, not the best, but decent. We didn't have to pay to park, but close to the stadium and close to the stadium and close to the hotel. They had this liquor store. I knew about it. I had been there before. It's called Warehouse Liquors on Texas Highway 180, which until the 1990s was United States Highway 80. Went all the way from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific. But then they built this interstate, so they shortened the highway. It only goes to Dallas now. Although the road is still there. They didn't tear up the road, so they just renamed the road 180 in Dallas. So you can still drive on the old road if you really want to go slow and see every stoplight between the Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific. But so on that road, it's a 4-lane highway there, 2 lanes east, 2 lanes west. This is the westbound. I told David, I said, you need to check out this place, Liquor Warehouse. So he was really excited about it, and he liked the place, but he found some bourbon. I don't know what it was, and they didn't have as good a price as Total Wine and More on some other part of Arlington. So that was a big old fight argument about going to this Total Wine. We couldn't find it. The people at Total Wine, the Google Maps wasn't showing us the right thing because that has a lot of faults with it. And the people at Total Wine, we were calling them on the phone, and I was like, "Are you on the west side of the interchange or the east side?" They didn't know what I was talking about. What is west? What does east mean? I was like, "There's no way they can help us." But we finally did find what he wanted, whatever that was. Okay, but anyway, when I was at the Liquor Warehouse, I was looking around, just looking around, and I was like, I don't want this, I don't want that. And then I was like, Hunter Rye, a full-size glass bottle. I couldn't believe it, There it was. And it was $11.99. I told David, I said, I'm buying this. Hunter Rye 90 proof has been crafted to deliver the perfect, now listen to Sazerac. They funny, huh? The perfect balance of rye spice and smooth finish. It goes best with the great outdoors. Well, I'm in the great indoors tonight. The light of the stars are just sitting around a warm fire, swapping stories with friends. Imported and bottled by Sazerac Company, Frankfort, Kentucky. That's Buffalo Trace. And a local store got Buffalo Trace's Pappy Van Winkle today. The whole lineup, some exorbitant price. And I was like, oh, yeah. I took out my credit card. I said, I'll buy them all. And the manager of the store said, good try. He said, no, good try. I'm sure they got somebody they're going to call on the phone and say, we got your whiskey, and they'll pay whatever thousands of dollars to get all 6. 6? Was it 6 or 8? I don't know. It was the whole lineup. Anyway, I don't know when this was introduced, but like I said, it couldn't have been, or like I'm going to say, it couldn't have been before 39 years ago, because Canadian Hunter was not introduced till 1984, 39 years ago. All right. So Seagram's introduced Seagram's Canadian Hunter in 1984. Then they turned around and sold it to the Sazerac Company in 1989, 5 years later. I don't know why. I guess, well, they had a lot of problems. They went out of business 11 years after that. But, and they talk about that on the Sazerac website, by the way. If you look up Sazerac.com, they talk about the story of when they bought all those brands. But could this have been produced by Seagram's back in 1984? I doubt it, but it's entirely possible. They may have always had a rye whiskey version of Canadian Hunter that just was low profile and not advertised, and still around today, as evidenced by I got it. And I think I could still buy it at Broadway Liquors, but I'm not buying a little mini bottle. All right, so I got it. Still got most of the bottle left. So, I mean, Old Overholt, most towns have this. Even if you live in a small town, you can find that. That's pretty common. All right. Let's look at the comments. Let's see. Bonsoir, Ron. Good evening, Ron, says B Aviation. Well, good evening to you. All right, so I was looking up the Canadian regulations for rye whiskey, and it says, and this is not some body's website talking about, like people will tell me, oh, that's the Sazerac #2 mash bill. I say, hey, you know that? I read it on a blog. I said, oh, a blog, a weblog. Oh, that's great. Where does his information come from? Oh, he heard it from somebody. Oh, that's good. That's really official. You heard it from somebody. Well, here, this is official because this is from the Canadian government website, the Government of Canada website. I'm pretty sure they know what their own regulations are. So this is Food and Drug Regulations. And I'm not going to read all these numbers, but it says Canadian whiskey, Canadian rye whiskey, or rye whiskey. So this is the current regulations from February 15, 2023. That's the last time it was amended. Canadian whiskey, comma, Canadian rye whiskey or rye whiskey. A, shall, 1, be a potable, meaning you could drink it, potable alcoholic distillate or a mixture of potable alcoholic distillates obtained from a mash of cereal grain or cereal grain products saccharified by the distase of malt and or by other enzymes and fermented by the action of yeast or a mixture of yeast and other microorganisms. Shall be aged in small wood, that means a small wooden barrel, for not less than 3 years. Possess the aroma, taste, and character generally attributed to Canadian whiskey, whatever that means. Although Canadian whiskeys do tend to taste alike and smell alike. Be manufactured in accordance with the requirements of the excise tax and the regulations made thereunder. I read that. That was just about distilleries, how they have to be set up. Number 5, be mashed, distilled, and aged in Canada. Notice it didn't say bottled in Canada. And contain not less than 40% alcohol by volume and may contain, this is important, and may contain caramel and flavoring. So it can have caramel coloring and flavoring. Subject to subsection 3, no person shall make any claim with respect to the age of Canadian whiskey other than for the period during which the whiskey has been held in small wood. Where Canadian whiskey has been aged in small wood for a period of at least 3 years, any period not exceeding 6 months during which that whiskey was held in other containers may be claimed as age. But it can't go over 6 months. Good evening, Ron. Checking in. Thank you, Working Class Beer Reviews. All right, here we go. So Old Overholt, famous American whiskey, the oldest brand of American whiskey currently on the market, still on the market. Do you know what the oldest American beer on the market is? The oldest American beer brand? Anyone? No, I don't know the oldest wine, so don't ask. I do not know. That's Old Overholt. Oh yeah, that's more than enough. More than enough. Hunter Rye. I'm so glad I tracked it down. I may never see it again, but I'll probably run across it. B Aviation says, I was just in Canada yesterday. Sadly, I did not stop at the Liquor Control Board of Ontario. Oh, man. I don't know if this is sold in Canada. I don't know if it's ever been sold in Canada because Canadians tell me all the time, I've never seen that product in my country. They make a lot of whiskey that they only export, apparently. It's like Scotland. I have Scottish people telling me, I never heard of Buchanan's. I said, what? It's been on the market since 84, not 1984, 1884. They said, well, we don't get it here. But, Buchanan's is sold all over North and South America, in Mesoamerica, Central America, Middle America. But, well, it's like cognac. A lot of cognac is made in France, but most of it is not sold in France. 90% of it is exported. Why is that? French people don't really like cognac. They sell it to other people. They drink beer and wine, mostly beer. I was talking to a girl. She says she used to do beer reviews, but she didn't stick with it. I don't know what her deal was, but she was saying she was living in France for a while, and she told me, she said, if you go to a bar, I mean, there might be some old men, like two 70-year-old men drinking it, but really middle-aged or young people, they don't drink cognac or brandy in France. And maybe Canadian whiskey, there's so much of it, they just make it, and they send it out. Of course, obviously, of course, they make a lot of brands that they sell in Canada, okay? And there's Canadian whiskey all over Canada. We're not saying that they don't have it. Obviously, they drink it. I'm saying there's a lot of brands that are made that are just exported, okay? That makes sense. All right. Best brandy cognac is Corbel from California, says Claude Diamond. Hello, Claude. Oh yeah, I like Corbel. I've had the Corbel XS. It's gone, but I still have half that bottle of the Corbel brandy, California brandy. Some sort of German beer is probably the oldest beer. Francis Connor. Oh, you talking about Weihenstephaner. Weihenstephaner. No, I said the oldest American beer brand. But yeah, Weihenstephaner is the oldest German beer brand that they can back up. When they got records. And like Weihenstephaner says, they say we think it's older than 1040, but the oldest document we can find is back to 1040. So it probably was on the market before that, but we cannot find documents to back that up. So they want to go with the actual documentation. Hey, buddy, what's the drink selection for Wednesday, says Claude Diamond. Oh, it's holiday beers. Any holiday beer. Now, I know somebody might drink Miller High Life during the holidays, but, that's not a holiday beer. E&J XO is the best brandy, in my opinion, says Tom. I like that beer. That beer. Hadn't even started drinking these yet. I like that E&J XO. Yeah, it's really good. I might buy it again. I just like it so much. I need to revisit it. WC Beer Review says Schaefer is the oldest American beer brand. Good guess. That's a good guess. It's incorrect, but it's a good guess. It's the oldest lager beer. Yes, it is America's oldest lager beer. It's not the oldest beer brand. I saw cheaper Crown Royal in Michigan than in Ontario. Taxes? Most likely, yeah. Well, they have very high taxes in Canada because they have to pay for all the free health care. Yeah, it's free. You're just paying for it. That's the only problem with the free healthcare is that you have to pay for it. Beyond that, it's totally free, except that you have to pay for it. Seems fair. Okay. And I've had some Canadians get enraged with me, telling me, "You're wrong. It's totally free." I'm like, telling them, "No, you're paying for it." Either you're just being obstinate for no reason, or you're not intelligent. I'll stick to Black Velvet. I'm not supporting $100 whiskey. The 500% taxes can afford it, says Max. I have some Black Velvet actually, but it's not going to fit into these taste challenges because these are actual rye whiskeys. Black Velvet is high rye, it's Canadian high rye, but it's not a rye. It's not a rye whiskey. This is a Canadian Hunter rye. It's different from regular Canadian Hunter, which is higher rye. I get that. But it's not a rye whiskey. It's just a Canadian blended whiskey. And I still have a little bit of that left, but it's not much. Yeah, it's smooth. Yeah, so the Canadian Hunter is about to go bye-bye. And, I got so much Canadian whiskey that's never been popped open. I can't bring in more. I can't handle Kentucky. Can't handle Kentucky? Miller High Life is my holiday beer, but I like Firestone holiday beer. Well, Claude, bring a holiday beer so that you can appear on the live hangout. Unless Miller High Life's coming out with a new Miller High Life holiday beer. It smells like whatever this smells like. It's really good. It's corn, sweet corn, um, rye spice. I don't have a top three, WC. I don't. I'm sorry, I just don't. I like High Life. Okay. Um, let's stick to the topic. It's like sweet corn, a little spice, and like caramel and nougat. Caramel nougat. Well, I just quoted you the Canadian regulation. They say they can have flavoring and coloring added. It's right out there in the open. Shiner makes a holiday beer, but hard to find. Yeah, it's really good too. I have a bottle. In fact, that's what I'm bringing. Shiner Holiday Ale. It's called Shiner Holiday Cheer. Now this smells like straight up American rye, like Kentucky rye. You know what I'm saying? No, I mean it's just like spicy rye grain. It doesn't have the. Do you get Rebel rye or Ezra Brooks rye in Louisiana? Yes, both. Yes, yes. Not in every store, got to shop around, but they have it. Yeah, definitely, most certainly. In fact, I have Ezra Brooks rye on the shelf. I just haven't opened it yet. That's the next one next year. Okay, so on aroma, I'm assuming that's the Hunter rye, and that's the Kentucky Old Overholt rye, formerly from Pennsylvania. Don't know for sure, but that's my assumption. Let's go with the taste. Cheers. Go time. There's a strong yeast note here. Um, Now remember, 90 proof versus 86 proof. So 45% alcohol versus 43. Not a big difference, but it's a difference, but it's not a big difference. Um, you get that nougat, a little vanilla, a little cake icing, something. I think that's the Canadian Hunter rye because it tastes too strange relative to American rye to be that. Got it right. Now, is Canadian Hunter rye or imported Hunter rye, as they call it on the bottle, is it worth buying? I think it's worth buying. I mean, I only paid $11.99. That was 2 years ago, right when the JB inflation was kicking in. But has a pleasant flavor. It's medium bodied. It's mild. It's mellow. It's easy going. There's no bite to it. No bad bite. It's fine. Now, I'm not going to say it's some fabulous thing you got to run out and buy it. Like, oh, you just have to have it. It's so amazing. I can't believe it. I never said that when I first had the little bottles, the two little bottles. And I'm not saying it now, but I like it. Can it stand up with American rye whiskeys? Yeah, I mean, it can stand up. Now, would it compete with Sazerac that I did earlier this week? Man, I don't know about that, but I mean, it's good. I like it. I would buy it again. I would recommend it. And I would buy it again. Now, you just got to remember they can add flavor into a Canadian rye whiskey, and they don't have to tell you about it. Apparently, they can add it. But then on the other hand, they can add flavoring to American rye whiskey as long as it's not straight rye. Now, if it's straight rye, no, they cannot add flavoring. And this is old Overholt is straight rye, so there's no flavoring added. All right, so whatever you're tasting is from the grains. It's like a woman, like, oh, she's beautiful. You say, yeah, but look at all the makeup she's wearing. Okay, so Maybe she's not as beautiful as it may appear. So the Canadian whiskey is like the woman. She's so beautiful, but she's wearing a lot of makeup. I saw Raquel Welch in that Dick Cavett interview, and I was like amazed, but she was wearing a lot of makeup, and she had hairdressers and very professional people working on her. What about without the makeup? She might have been like this old Overholt, not as great, but maybe probably was, because her cheek structure and all, it just seemed like really well defined. So, but this is like without the makeup, electric guitar, unplugged, acoustic. You see, I don't have a complaint. I didn't have a complaint before, during, or after, so I don't have a complaint about the old Overholt. Uh, is it the best rye you're ever going to try? I mean, yeah, for 19.99, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be. But I don't know what the best rye is because I'm not paying $300-400 to find out. Okay, let's see the comments. Haven't ever had black velvet. It's worth trying, but I don't really like it too much. It's okay. It's nice. Keeps getting bought out though. That's not a good sign. Like now, Heaven Hill owns it. If they keep selling the brand, that's telling me that it's not performing up to their expectations. It is in the top 10 best-selling Canadian whiskeys. I understand that. Black Velvet is one of the top 10, probably in the top 5. On the other hand, there's got to be a reason it keeps getting sold. You say, well, they just flipping it. They buying it here and they selling it there, making a little money. Okay, I understand that. There is a Black Velvet distillery in Canada. It's its own distillery, Black Velvet. Just like there's Canadian Mist distillery. Canadian Mist is big. It's bland. But then if you read the history of the product, it was made to be bland. They had their own distillery. Is there a specific reason why rye is usually above 80 proof? Oh, yes, because that's the law. It has to be above 80 proof. That's the specific reason. Oh, you mean above 80 proof? Huh. Good question. No, I don't know the answer to that. Usually they about 90 proof, huh? I don't know. Does the taste of whiskey change once the bottle has been open for a month or so? I noticed this with Wild Turkey 101. Just curious on your thoughts. It might, but I haven't tracked that. You know what I'm saying? Like I haven't really specifically tracked if that occurs, so I can't say. I like the Bird Dog the best. It's flavored. Oh yeah, they make many Bird Dog flavored whiskeys, but I found the original Bird Dog unflavored bourbon. I got an unopened bottle of Bird Dog bourbon, unflavored, and they had it at Walmart, and they were trying to get rid of it, so they sold it for $10, and I bought it, and I haven't tried it yet. Is it going to be simple? Probably. Is it going to be great? I doubt that. Is it going to be enjoyable? Most likely. Blackberry is nice. Yeah, they make so many Bird Dog flavors, right? Peach. You see peach all the time. Black Velvet is doing a big promo now in Colorado. $1.75 a handle for $21. Oh, really? I like Crown Royal 10 cup Evan Williams. Not sure if I should buy it. Well, for that price, that's not much of a risk. I got a good deal on it too. They had a deal like last year at Mathern's or year before last, and I was like, "What for that price is no risk factor." And I was glad I bought it. And then a week later, they dropped it another dollar, and I was like, "Well, I should have waited," but I didn't know they were going to drop the price. 21, that's good. Crown is like $55 for a handle. Well, I can get Crown Royal handles for 45. Max, I can get Crown Royal handles for $44.95 still. $44.95. Black Velvet has a similar buzz. Yeah, well, I don't know about all that. I don't drink enough to get all this buzz, you know what I'm talking about. But some people are into that, but I'm more into tasting it. Crown is like, oh no, $120. No, it's $44.95 here for the handle with two glasses for the the holiday pack. Claude Diamond says, "Have you ever had Kessler whiskey? They sell it super cheap in Walmart." Yeah, I have a bottle of Kessler, Julius Kessler whiskey, introduced in 1888, right? 1888, 1888. True story. Real. It's not a made up year. Yeah, I got a bottle of it. It's a real brand. It's not some made up name. It's a real man. He moved to the United States. He got disgusted with prohibition. He moved back to Hungary, where he died in the 1930s. But he went all around the western states, like Colorado, for instance, pushing Julius Kessler. He would sell it out of a wagon. Then, became a big company, and Jim Beam bought it. No shock. But they still make it. Kentucky blended whiskey. Oh yeah, it's worth buying. I mean, if you can get it cheap, I paid like $13.99 for the handle. True story. I could have gotten the glass liter, but it was cheaper per ounce with the handle, and I didn't find any problems with the plastic. Honestly, nah. Depends where you go. $10 for Bird Dog is nice. I know Walmart had it, and I bought it, and it was gone in 2 days. They had like 10 on the shelf. They put it for $10, and 2 days later they had none on the shelf. Probably somebody came in there and bought all the bottles. Probably bought every bottle. It's usually 27. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they had it for a ridiculously low price. And they don't have a limit. You can buy as much as you want. They're trying to get rid of it. They don't care. So I just bought one of each. They had all these $10 bottles. Like when they had the Cristalino from Hornitos Cristalino. That's like a $40 bottle. It's like $45. Walmart had it for 10. Well, I bought my bottle immediately. I told this lady at work, I said, I got a bottle for $10. Next time I saw her, I said, what about that Cristalino? She said, I bought it. She said, as soon as I got off of work, I went to Walmart and I bought it. She said they had 2 bottles left. I said, yeah, because the next day I checked, they had 1 bottle left. She said, yeah, I bought it. She said, now I might not drink it for 10 years, but there's no way I was passing that up. I said, good call. That's a $45 bottle. Maybe you find it for $39.95 somewhere for $10. Who's going to pass that up? Not me. Cristalino. I can't wait to try it. All right. From Hornitos. That's not a cheap tequila. That's 100% agave tequilas. No mixto, no filler. Oh, yeah. On the market since 1950. All right, back to this, and then we're closing it out. Oh, that's a wonderful product. So, would I ever confuse Old Overholt with Hunter Rye? Answer, no, I don't believe so. They don't taste alike. I mean, they have a rye quality. I mean, obviously that's a crossover, but they're so different that nah, forget it. You're not going to confuse the two. Now, pretty doubtful that you're going to find a full-size bottle for $11.99, but I did, so I bought it. I mean, you're probably not going to find it for that price, but I did. Well, first of all, you're probably not going to find it. It's so rare, but they do make it, but not many batches per year, obviously. Maybe very small. This is like a true small batch, but I got it because I'm holding it. Glass. Looks pretty, right? Amazing caramel color. Haha. This one, yeah, you don't have to track this down. Most every town's going to sell this. Even my town has it, and we only have 28,000 people here. So, yeah, Oh, which one tastes better? It's hard to say. I mean, they both have their positive attributes, and they don't have really any negative attributes. So it's like an approach conflict. Either way you go, you win. You go this way, you win. You go that way, you win. So you want to approach both choices, and they're not expensive. It's really a double approach conflict, because You win and you win. Double approach. Like either way, you win. You can't lose. It's like you cannot lose. With these two, you cannot lose. A double approach conflict. There's no avoidance unless you're the cheapest person in the world and you don't want to pay for stuff and you want somebody to give it to you because you're mad, you're insane, you need help. But for normal people, reasonable people, you can't go wrong here. Uh, does Walmart have to buy from a distributor or directly from the manufacturer? Well, in Louisiana, you have to buy from a distributor. Well, in most states, that's a three-tier system. So you would have to buy from a distributor, yes. And they do definitely buy from distributors because every time I go into Walmart, there's a distributor in there working the floor. From Crescent Crown, um, Republic National, Glazer, Southern Glazer, Southern Eagle. Yeah, so yeah, of course, they have to buy from the distributor. My town has like 700 people, basically imported prices. Yeah, well, the smaller the town, of course, you're going to pay more. Louisiana has the cheapest prices, even discounted tobacco. Louisiana does have discounted tobacco, and I remember last year, it could still be now, but last year, Racetrack, oh, sorry, Circle K, Circle K had big bags. No, not Circle K, it was Chevron gas station. I don't know what they're called. Their little convenience stores are called. But Chevron had these huge bags of chewing tobacco, huge bags, like not a 16 ounce, like a 32-ounce bag of, full cut, not the pulverized, like the snuff, but the full cut chewing tobacco for it was like $4.99. I don't remember the brand. I didn't buy it. I don't chew that stuff, but I just thought that's amazing. I might buy it just to try it. But we get prices here that are unreal sometimes. Not all the time, not usually, but sometimes cigarettes you get for $3.50 for a pack. Yeah, yeah, chewing tobacco. Okay, I saw somewhere that the wholesale price is 50% or the total retail price. Huge markup. It was a big markup. And I was talking to a distributor. I won't name the company. I said, how can they sell stuff for $10? That's below cost. I said, there's no way Bird Dog bourbon is $10 a bottle wholesale. That's not possible. He said, I know that. He knew about the sale too. He said, I know about that sale. He said, here's the law. Oh, Bossier City. Okay. Houghton, Bossier City. Yeah, all those, what they call it, Mr. Thrifty. What's those stores they have around there? They're like really elaborate liquor stores. But he was telling me, he said, here's the law. He said, you can sell liquor below cost in Louisiana. But, he said, but you can't sell that brand again within a year at all. So he said the law is like if they wanted to sell Bird Dog for $10, they can do it. And the cost was probably $20. They're just trying to get rid of it. They're going to lose $10 per bottle. They want it out the store. He said you could sell it below cost. You could sell it for a penny if you wanted, theoretically. He said, but they cannot, once it's gone, they can't sell that brand again for an entire year. I said, okay. But then they probably wouldn't want to sell it because it probably wasn't selling to start with. He said, but that is the law. That's to prevent, funny stuff going on. I said, that makes sense. In other words, predatory discounts. I said, I'm glad you told me that because I knew there had to be something to this. He said, that's the answer. That's the answer. He said, normally you cannot sell liquor below cost in Louisiana. If you do it, fine, but you can't sell that particular brand in your store again for an entire year. And I never saw Bird Dog again in Walmart since. I've seen the flavors, the peach, the blackberry, so forth. Okay, fine. Not the original bourbon. Help Jay out and hit the thumbs up button, says WC Beer Reviews. Yes. That's awesome. They should sell brandy for a penny. Well, I don't think you'll see that. All right. Anyway, but they did have a deal. Funny thing about that. It wasn't a penny, it was free. Free. If you bought a bottle of Bacardi, didn't matter what kind, they had this little paper thing on the label neck with two little bottles hanging, 50 milliliters. This was like 3 months ago. If you bought a bottle of Bacardi, you got 2 free sample bottles. Didn't have to buy them. They were just included. I mean, of course, you had to buy the Bacardi. But the distributor guy said, you don't have to really buy that. And he pulled 2 off and he said, yeah, you can have them. They're free. They don't care. I said, they're going to say I'm stealing them. He said, nah, they're not going to care. So he gave me the flavored, 2 different ones, the black and a flavored or whatever. I said, well, I'm not going to turn down free rum. But that was free. That was a promo. If you bought a Bacardi, any flavor, you got 2 free sample bottles to try the other flavors, obviously, to get you to buy those. And they do those coupons from time to time around here with Diageo. It'll be like, well, if you buy, you can tear them off. It'll be a sheet. You can tear it off. If you buy a handle bottle of any Bacardi, I mean, any, Diageo product, if you bought like the Captain Morgan handle, spiced or silver. I bought the silver. Then you could get a second bottle for like $4 of any brand, And it was a rebate, you paid a full price, but then they send you a rebate and then you only paid $4. And I was like, oh, I'll do that. So I bought a big bottle of, and they had it on sale. So I got it on discount. It had nothing to do with the coupon. So I bought the Captain Morgan White. Then I sent in they figuring you're not going to send in the sheet. That's what they're saying. You're going to tear off the sheet and you're going to get busy and you're going to forget about it. But I came home, I sat down, filled out the information. I highlighted the receipt like they said to do. Highlight the price or circle it. I filled out the envelope. I mailed it in, paid for the stamp. And then they said 6 to 8 weeks, but really it was only like 4 weeks later, I got the refund. I got the check. Now I got to go to the bank and cash the check. But you see, they know that most people are going to get busy and they're going to forget about it. They're going to buy it to get the deal. They're going to set the coupon down and they're going to forget about it. So 99% of the people, they're never going to have to give them the money. But I did, and I got the refund. So that was nice, huh? All right. So they do those little discount deals around here. Not too much, but they do it. And of course, I took advantage of it. All right. So the winner here is me because I bought both. See what I'm saying? The winner is me because I bought both. They're both good. All right. We've gone on long enough, but people are making good comments. So, based on one of your excellent reviews, I bought a bottle of Duvel. You spelled it wrong. Duvel Belgian blonde beer. I bet you liked it. You should do some video series where you go liquor hunting at different shops. Oh, no, I'm not going to do that because I never watch videos like that. I know people do videos like that. My friend David loves to watch those. He loves watching those hunter videos, but I never watch it, so I wouldn't do it. Duvel is 8.5, but tastes much stronger. It's a delicious beer, however. Oh, yeah, it's fabulous, that little devil. Oh, yeah, that's a classic. I'm not really into Tripels, honestly, but it is a classic. All right, so thanks for tolerating this. It was a good discussion, honestly, and there you go. If you ever see one of these two, check them out because you probably will like them. And they have a lot, look how dark it got. They have a lot of history with them, a lot of history. And I used to teach, I taught history. So That was how I made money. I earned money teaching history. I was like free money because I'd read about history all day long anyway. So there you go. Winner or a winner. Either way, Canada, United States, winner, winner. You got it. All right. See y'all tomorrow, I guess. So y'all take care now.